On the edge. Autumn. A cold wind sweeps yellow leaves through the streets, howling between the buildings. The city seems gray and faceless, with only occasional streetlights casting flickering light on the wet asphalt. Artyom steps out of the coffee shop, clutching a hot cup of cappuccino in his hands. He has headphones on, lost in music, his thoughts far away, focused on the code he failed to complete at work. Suddenly, a strong jolt. Coffee splashes onto his coat. "Careful!" he exclaims sharply, instinctively stepping back. But then he sees a girl with frightened eyes in front of him. "I'm so sorry," she says hastily, catching her breath. It looks like she's running from someone. The wind tosses her dark hair, and her eyes are filled with anxiety. Artyom notices that her fingers are trembling. "Are you okay?" he asks, glancing around for any threat. "No." She takes a deep breath, trying to calm down. "Can I just stand here for a minute?" Artyom nods, and they remain side by side, watching the passers-by. He sees her shoulders gradually relax. After a few minutes, she turns to him. "I'm Alina," she says. "Thank you," he responds with a smile. Artyom. That moment stays with him longer than he expected. The following week, he sees her again in the same coffee shop. She's sitting by the window, leaning over her laptop, her fingers typing quickly and confidently. He watches her for a few seconds before deciding to approach. "Running away again?" he says with a slight smile, placing his coffee on the table next to hers. Alina looks up, her face lighting up with a warm smile. Number working journalism. That's how their acquaintance begins. They meet in this coffee shop several more times, talking. Artyom learns that she writes investigative articles, sometimes getting into serious trouble. She learns that he is a programmer, an introvert used to the orderly world of code and logic. Total opposites. But something special starts to grow between them. One evening, he finds her in tears. She has just received a threat because of her latest article. "Do you even understand what you're getting yourself into?" For the first time in his life, Artyom raises his voice. "It's my duty," Alina replies, clenching her fists. "I can't turn a blind eye to corruption, to crimes. If not me, then who? But it's dangerous. These are serious people. Do you even realize what they could do?" She remains silent. He sees fear in her eyes, but also stubbornness. She won't back down. The next day, he tries to talk to her, but she avoids him. Her face is tired, shadows in her eyes. He realizes she's tormented by doubts, but refuses to retreat. That night, he can't sleep, and the next day, she disappears. He calls her, but her phone is off. He tries to reach her colleagues. No one knows where she is. Finally, he finds her phone, discarded on the pavement near her house. His heart skips a beat. He starts searching for her, tracking her last calls, hacking into her computer to find any clue. Everything leads to an abandoned building on the outskirts of the city. When he bursts inside, his heart pounds wildly. There she is, tied up, frightened. The criminals she tried to expose decided to act. "Let her go!" Artyom's voice is firm. He grips an iron rod in his hands, though he knows they outnumber him. They laugh. They're stronger, but he doesn't back down. A fight breaks out. Blows, pain. But he is not alone. The police, called by his friends, storm into the building. The criminals are arrested. Alina is free. Alina undergoes rehabilitation. Her case gains publicity. Her enemies retreat, but the fear remains. Artyom is always there. He takes care of her, brings her hot tea, stays overnight when she's too afraid to sleep alone. but tension grows between them. Her world and his are too different. She lives in danger, he in security. Can they truly be together? A year passes. They are still together. Alina continues to write, but now more cautiously. Artyom helps her with cybersecurity, but most importantly, they have learned to understand each other. Their love has survived fear, pain, and doubt, remaining unchanged. "I will always find you," he says, holding her hand. "And I will always fight," she replies, leaning into him. The city still hums outside the window. Autumn leaves swirl in the air once more. But now the world seems different to them, because they are no longer alone.